He said a level playing field for commercial media competing with tech giants is vital for the industry here to survive.
2 weeks ago, Greg Highwood was announcing yet another round of redundancies. Today, he gave some insight into what Fairfax is up against.
Audiences are now fragmented and can directly access millions of content providers, including advertisers such as season car sales, often for free.
He said Fairfax was now competing against tech giants such as Google and Facebook, as well as the ABC, which he said was using taxpayers' money for search engine marketing. But he said the local industry was being shackled by outdated cross-media ownership rules.
It has never been our belief that commercial enterprises should be supported by government. However, we do believe in a regulatory environment that levels the playing field.
Earlier, the Journalists' Union painted a bleak picture of the industry's decline.
Since 2011, at least 2,500 journalist positions have disappeared at newspapers and broadcasters across the country, probably more.
The union wants the committee to consider tax incentives to encourage investment in journalism and a levy on big tech companies who contribute nothing towards the content they use.
Such funds would ensure that a minimum of 1% of advertising revenues of organisations of scale are devoted to fund journalistic and related content as a condition of companies' access to each market.
The inquiry heard the media industry is in crisis and politicians can't rely on the market to fix the problems. Industry leaders say the rise of fake news has highlighted the importance of quality journalism, and they're calling on the government to step in to protect the public interest. Ursula Malone, ABC News.
The latest official figures show the growth of Australian pay packets languishing at a record low. Wages grew by 0.5 percentage point in the first quarter, up from 0.4% in the December quarter. That takes the annual growth to just 1.9%, the lowest level since records began. Public sector workers fared better than private, with hospitality workers the worst off. And weak wage growth is bad news for the Treasurer, whose forecast of budget surplus in 2021 depends on annual wage hikes of more than 3%. And if you like a bit of bling, you might want to pay attention to the next story. 2 pink and blue shaped diamonds have been auctioned off in Switzerland. They've been described as the most important pair of earrings ever offered at auction. They're almost 16 carats each and apparently flawless. The price tag, a cool $77 million. They were both bought by a private buyer with very deep pockets. Too deep if you ask me, but $77 million is really worth it.
No, I thought you would spend that on me for Christmas, at least, Oscar. I look forward to Christmas anyway. I'm expecting some time of year. Thank you. Well, Britain's Labour Party has made its case for voters to back its move to the left and throw out the Conservatives at next month's election, promising renationalisation of some services, measures to curb corporate excess and an end to healthcare cuts. Labour is trailing badly in the polls, of course, for the June 8 election, which could reshape the political landscape for years to come. Tom Brooks is an advisor to the UK Labour Party on migration policy and a professor of law at Durham University. He says individually, Jeremy Corbyn's policies are getting support.
Well, the poll numbers haven't been to Labour's favour. They've been trailing by a large margin behind